everyone, it's Mrs. Tinsley. Time for your weekly ELA recording. Today we will be talking about nonfiction and fiction text. We will talk about some main idea and details and characters and setting. Okay? So before we begin, I want to discuss a little bit about what fiction and nonfiction is so that when you get into this story, you can decide on your own what you feel this is. So fiction is fake. Fiction, fake, the story's not real. Nonfiction means it's not fake and it is real. So today's story that I will be reading to you is called Chocolatina by Eric Kraft. I want you to help me decide if this story is real or not real. Is it fiction or not nonfiction? Okay? So let's get started and pay attention because I will be asking some questions. I want you to follow along with me throughout this story. So Tina loved chocolate more than anything in the world. She loved it more than birthdays, more than roller skating, and definitely more than dried fruit. Everyone called her Chocolatina. When Dad asked, "How would you like your eggs, Chocolatina?" Tina always said, "With a bowl of Choco Crunchies, please." When the lunch lady asked, "What kind of milk would you like today, Chocolatina?" Tina always picked chocolate milk. So look at all that chocolate milk there that she's got. She sure loves her chocolate. And when Mom said, "Tonight we have fruit salad for dessert," Tina covered hers with chocolate. So while we're on this page, I want you to take a look at this picture over here. Look at this character, probably her brother or sister, and look at this character, her dad probably. Look at their faces. What could you tell based on this picture of these two characters? You think they like chocolate or that they don't? Or do you think that they think what she is doing with her fruit over here looks good or not good? We can tell a lot from pictures. They did not have to say, but probably based on this look, I can think, I don't think that this person probably thinks this looks good. Okay, so you can use a lot of clues from our pictures. Tina's health teacher, Mrs. Ferdman, hated chocolate and everything else that children liked. "You should eat only foods that are good for you," she told the class. On special occasions, like birthdays or full moons, she gave them dried prunes. And if you look at the pictures, you can tell that these children probably do not like them. Mrs. Ferdman's favorite saying was, "You are what you eat." And she would write it on the chalkboard and make the children repeat it every day at the end of class. One day during that part of health class, Tina bit off the ear of a chocolate bunny. Then she stood up and said, "I wish that were true." So what does she wish was true? She wishes that she was what she ate, based on what Mrs. Ferdman was saying. So she wished that she turned into chocolate. So that night, a strange thing happened. What could it be? When Tina woke up, she felt all stiff. She went downstairs and looked in the mirror. Immediately she saw why. "I've turned into chocolate," she cried. Oh no, isn't that what she wanted? Sometimes maybe we don't really want what we wish for. Sometimes it's just a saying that we kind of think it might be fun. So take a look at this picture as I read it, please. "Whatever you say, Chocolatina dear," said her mother from behind her newspaper. "Now hurry up and eat your breakfast or you'll miss the bus." So think about this picture really quick. Did Mom see Chocolatina before she left for school? Why not? Because she's behind her newspaper. Okay, so think about again. So far, if I asked you, who was our main character? What would you tell me? The main person that's happening, our story is mostly about. If you said Chocolatina or Tina, you are correct. That is our main character. That's who the story is mostly about. Okay? When Tina got on the school bus, everyone gasped. Look at that word gasped here. What does that word mean? Gasped. So think about if you're on the school bus and someone walks on and they're chocolate, covered in chocolate. What would you do? You'd probably look like confused or like, okay, that's called gasping. You're kind of like surprised or shocked. Gasped. Okay. Do you mind if we don't sit together today, Chocolatina? Her best friend Patty asked. My mom will ground me if I get chocolate on my new shirt. How do you think that made Tina feel? That her friend, her best friend, didn't want to sit by her, even though now she's a little bit different. Think about a word that maybe could describe how she would feel if she was by herself, no one else around, no one wanted to sit by her. After a lonely bus ride, Tina was glad to be in spelling class, her favorite subject. But her first word in the spelling bee was cocoa, and she got flustered and spelled it wrong. So first off, let's think about that word. Is there a word on this page that I read that could describe how she felt on the bus when no one wanted to sit near her? Let me read the first sentence. After a lonely bus ride, Tina was glad to be in spelling class. So think of the word. Lonely. Yep, lonely is a good word that describes how you're feeling if you're by yourself or kind of not with other people. The reason that she was flustered, kind of thrown off a little bit, kind of nervous about the word she needed to spell, cocoa, is because cocoa is also chocolate. It's another word for chocolate. All right. At lunchtime, Jimmy Del Rooney tried to bite off one of Tina's elbows. I just wanted dessert, he told the principal. What about that? Recess was horrible. Tina was too stiff to run or jump. She had to just stand and watch everyone else have fun. Take a look at this picture. What's happening to her? She's outside. She's chocolate. What's happening? Think about it. So when it was time to go back in, her feet had melted to the pavement. The other children had to carry her back inside. Worst of all, it was health class. There's Mrs. Ferdman. Mrs. Ferdman made Tina stand at the front of class. Didn't I tell you, class? What have I always said? You are what you eat, said the children. That's right. See me after class, Tina. Poor Tina. When everyone else had left, Mrs. Ferdman began to laugh. I hoped this would happen. I hoped you wouldn't listen to me. I hoped you'd turn into a chocolate girl. Do you know why? Why? Asked Tina, who was shaking so hard she thought she might crumble into a pile of chocolate chips. Oh no. There's Mrs. Ferdman. She says, because I love chocolate better than anything, shouted Mrs. Ferdman. She grabbed Tina, opened her mouth wide, and went straight for her right ear. She's gonna try to take a bite of her. Just then, the principal walked in. Hey, Mrs. Ferdman, I was wondering... Mrs. Ferdman, what on earth are you doing? She says. I thought she was a prune, said Mrs. Ferdman. The principal walked Mrs. Ferdman outside, and she was never seen at that school again. That night, safe at home in her bed, Tina cried a little chocolate syrup tear. I wish I could be a normal girl again, she whispered. So predict. What is your prediction? What do you think is going to happen? Think she's going to stay a chocolate girl forever? And when she woke up, that's what she was. Hooray, she cried. I'll never eat chocolate again. Hurry up and eat your breakfast, dear, or you'll miss the bus, called Tina's mother. On the table was a giant bowl of chocolate cereal. Do you think she's going to eat it? She said she'd never eat it again. I'll never eat chocolate again, said Tina, starting tomorrow. And she ate it all up. So it wasn't enough to convince her to stop eating it for that day. And here's the last picture of Mrs. Ferdman. So it looks like she is what she eats. All right, you guys, so let's do a little talking about our story today. Do we think this story is a fiction story, fake, or a nonfiction story? I want you to think about it. And on this next page here, I'm going to send this in this recording. I want you to write if you think this story is fiction or nonfiction. Put it right here and tell me why. Why do we think this story is fiction or nonfiction? And you can draw me a picture, okay? Give me some reasons from our story, definitely some clues or some real facts that happened in the story that can prove that to be true or false, okay? Okay, then if you want another extension activity, I have a little writing assignment for you. Choose your favorite food. Think about, what do you enjoy? What if you could turn into your favorite food? And then maybe you could write a short little story about it, okay? And if you don't want to do that and you just want to draw a picture, tell me what's your favorite food, and then draw me a picture of you being your favorite food, all right? So these are just some extension activities, not something that's required, just something for fun to kind of extend your thinking a little bit. But I do want to go back to our story a little bit and talk about whether or not we think that this story, talk about the main character. Okay, we already said Chocolatina was our main character. Now I want to do our setting. Where did this story mostly take place? Think about that for a second. If you said that this story mostly took place either at school or home, you were correct. It did happen mostly at school, but she was at home quite a bit in our story. So we could say either of those would be the setting where the story takes place. Now, let's do some retell, okay? Well, we want to retell the main idea of the story. So what happened mostly in this story? There was a little girl named Chocolatina, and she loved chocolate so much that she turned into chocolate. Just what her health teacher had said, okay? There were some details in there that happened. Details are other little pieces that kind of happened in there. So her teacher said that that would happen. She enjoyed chocolate. She ate chocolate with everything. These are details that happen to help us make up that main idea, okay? Friends didn't want to sit near her. What happened when she was chocolate? These are some problems. She was almost melting in the sun during her health class. So these are all details. When you do a retell, you want to pull in lots of information from the story. Okay, lastly, when we read this story, Chocolatina, we kind of talked a little bit about the main character. Let's give some details about our main character, Chocolatina. Okay, she's a little girl. She loves chocolate. She does not like her health class. So lots of different things that you can include when you're doing a retell. Retell is everything that you can remember from the story. All right, you guys. Well, this was a great recording for our story, Chocolatina. I love this story, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. We covered nonfiction, fiction, and I hope that you will be able to decide if you think this story is real or not real. Hopefully you can kind of figure that out. And then maybe you can send in some of your extension activities. Send these to your teacher with with your name so that we know who it is. We would love to see your drawings. I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and we will see you again next time. Have a wonderful day.